If you are living in Canada and you are thinking about moving to the USA, here's how you can do that. For starters, US citizens and permanent residents do not require visas to Canada for a period of up to 180 days for visiting purposes. And Canadian citizens do not require visas to the USA for a period of 180 days just to visit. And in the past, Canadian permanent residents did not also require visas to the USA. However, this law changed in 2003 due to US immigration reforms after 9/11. Now, for Canadians who want to work in the USA, the easiest visa to get is the TN visa. TN visa means Trade NAFTA visa. It was enacted as a result of the NAFTA free trade agreement between the USA, Canada, and Mexico. Now, as a Canadian citizen, if you want to apply for a TN visa, all you need to do is drive to the US border at the port of entry with your Canadian passport, valid for a minimum of 3 years, a written letter from your US employer. Then you must have your resume, your academic credential, and any other thing that supports your ability to do the job. Please also note that to be eligible for a TN visa, your profession should be among one of the professions listed on the NAFTA Annex 1603D1 list. Now, upon arrival at the border, you'll be required to pay a $50 TN visa fee and $6 for your I-94. If you are coming with your dependent will be eligible for a TD1 visa. However, this TD1 visa will not allow them to work. But if any of your dependents also have a degree from any of the professions listed on the NAFTA list, they can also apply for a TN visa of their own. Please note that Canadian permanent residents and other residents of Canada do not qualify for a TN visa. Now, the TN visa lasts for about 3 years. And if you are coming with any dependents, the validity of your dependent's visa is based on the validity of your own visa. Now, here comes the big question. Can TN visa holders in the USA become permanent residents and ultimately citizens of the USA? The answer is yes, but it is very tricky. First, we must establish the fact that TN visa holders are admitted as non-immigrants. So, applying for permanent residency while on TN visa in the USA is a direct violation of your visa agreement. However, here are 3 ways you can be able to switch and become a permanent resident. Number 1, you can apply to switch your visa status into any of the dual intent status. Now, the dual intent visa status includes the L visa, the H-1B visa, or the E-1, E-2 visa. The L-1 visa is basically for people who work in multinational companies who are transferring from one location to another. The H-1B visa, which is the easiest, is where you can tell your TN visa employer to file on your behalf for H-1B status. However, the problem with the H-1B status is that there's a cap on it every year. About 85,000 people are generally selected every year. And the E visa status is basically for those who want to invest in the USA. Now, the second way you can switch from TN visa to permanent residency status is when a family member sponsors you. Your family member has to be a US citizen or a US permanent resident. And by family member, it can be your husband, your wife, or your sibling. Now, the third way you can convert your TN visa status to become a permanent resident is for you to simply leave the USA, go back to Canada, and apply for permanent residency from Canada through any of the US embassies. The downside is that you'll be subjected to long wait times, but at least it's a safe way for applying for permanent residency without violating the terms of your visa. I hope this information will help as many persons as possible. Please ensure to like, comment, and share. Cheers.